hang on to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained?
In this video, you guys, we are going to be talking about Cash Out. If y'all don't know, Cash Out is a rapper. One of his most viral songs, as you guys may know, of course, where he's talking about riding the whip with that Nina and I Keisha. Okay, but now he's being convicted, you guys, for literally riding with a girl named Keisha, but he was taking her down to Fig. Allegedly, he was taking it out to Fig Row, okay, with the girls down in South Central, right? So what I noticed just looking at the docs is that he was a lot more intentional with what he did. To me, Diddy, it was sort of like, hey, come and party, right? It was like an invitation. With him, it was more so coercion. Like, hey, we're going to do this, but we're really going to do this. I'm going to sign you to my record deal and my record label, and I'm going to have you making tracks. Whole time, I'm going to have you walking the tracks. Y'all see what I'm saying? First, I want you guys to look at the jury and the verdict with them reaching it, you guys. Hold on.
Atlanta rapper Cash Out has just been found guilty of most charges against him.
He and two others on trial accused of luring women into prostitution.
Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston is live at the Fulton County Courthouse where that verdict was just read aloud. And this came down in the last 30 minutes, Yasmina.
That's right. And all three defendants were found guilty of violating the Georgia RICO Act, which is what prosecutors wanted to prove in this case, that the rapper Cash Out, his mom, Linda Smith, and a third co-defendant were operating a sex trafficking enterprise. The rapper, whose real name is John Michael Gibson, his mom, Linda Smith, also known as Mama Cash Out, and Tyrone Taylor were all facing multiple charges, including trafficking of a person for sexual servitude, pimping, and rape, and of course that RICO charge. The jury found the trio guilty on most of those charges they faced, but not guilty of some of them. In this weeks-long trial, prosecutors tried to prove the three of them were running a business and luring women into prostitution, and several of the alleged victims testified. Now, we do know the jury deliberated all day starting early this morning, and then they came back with a verdict about 30 minutes ago. And once that verdict was read, all three of the defendants were handcuffed and walked out of the courtroom. The judge also saying that there will be a sentencing hearing for all three on Monday morning. Live at the Fulton County Courthouse, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.
One of them being his brother, by the way. So a lot of y'all probably wondering, who the heck is this Cash Out? So this is Cash Out, y'all. Oh, child, the movie don't pop up. This is Cash Out, okay? With a dread. Y'all remember him? There was also a very interesting pic at one point that went viral of him. So there was that, okay? Now, with the documents. Hold on. Okay, yeah, with the documents, you guys, we're going to start getting into the document. Hold on. First of all, this PDF, y'all, I had to search high and low like Janelle Monáe, bitch, tipping on the tightrope. I'm talking about high and low. Where they high and low? Where they high and low? I got to tip on the tightrope. Like, I'm talking about up, down, and through. But I was able to find it because y'all got to understand, I do not live in the state of Georgia. When you do not live in the state of Georgia, it is very, when you do not live in a state where the court case is being dealt in, it's not easy to basically get a hold of the documents. So I did find a way to get a hold of the document. Okay, a lot of y'all are saying who this man is. This is who this man is, y'all. I mean, damn. Y'all that, okay, I can't continue more because, you know, It's copyright. Okay, so that's all y'all gonna get for now. All right, so let's start off. The first page, you guys, his name has a very long name, but they shortened it for this case with J.M. Gibson. So it's John Michael Hakeem Gibson. Okay. Now, in this PDF document, it details a lot of the stuff that he was accused of and how he was able to kind of, get away with it, for a point in time. Okay. Now, the first part of it kind of details the first woman that he ends up encountering and ends up getting into the whole situation. Hold on. I just want to make sure you're on the right page as I am, because I'm going to make sure you're reading along. Hold on. Okay, boom. All right. So it says in 2013, JM, which is Cash Out, was a 24-year-old woman living in the Atlanta area. JM was approached by Cash Out at a store located I-8285 in Metro Atlanta, and Cash Out told JM he would help her. Cash Out took JM to a house located at 3407 Old Jonesboro Road, Georgia, where there was another female staying, and provided JM with food and shelter. After a short period, Cash Out told JM that she owed him money for the food and shelter and that she would have to work as a 304 to pay him back. Cash Out was physically and verbally abusive towards JM, striking her in the face more than one occasion. Beginning 2013 and through 2015, Cash Out took JM to multiple locations in the Metro Atlanta area to work as a 304. See, this is where he gets super caught up because, it's the traveling. JM was SA'd hundreds of times while trafficked by Cash Out. Cash Out took the commercial acts proceeds. So one of the charges, y'all, was also pimping. So that was one of the charges. And there's another PDF where they list now they didn't get convicted for all the charges, but they got convicted for most of them. But one of the ones that I had to I said, wow. One of them was forceful sodomy. I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it when I read that. Especially with a nigga like him. I was like, damn. This man was worse than Diddy. And what's worse is the mom was involved. JM, Cash Out withheld food unless JM completed the acts. Cash Out threatened violence unless JM completed the acts. Cash Out coerced JM into acts by explaining that he would fine her people if JM misbehaved. Cash Out physically beat JM when she refused to perform commercial acts and got her to comply with performing acts. Cash Out similarly extorted, force, fraud, and coercion on other human beings, also forcing them to perform acts. To control JM, defendant carried handguns, threatened JM with bodily harm, and forced JM to take drugs. During the period, JM was trafficked by defendant. JM was regularly drugged, beaten, starved, raped, leaving JM bruised, emaciated, and disoriented. JM eventually escaped Cash Out in 2015. And they said a trafficker. Cash Out is under indictment for violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 3 counts of trafficking a person for servitude, rape, aggravated sodomy. See, this is what I was talking about. Let me go to the next slide. Y'all see? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. There's an infamous picture of that. I had forgot it was him for a little bit until I was looking online and was seeing about the court case, and I was like, oh, that's the dude with the aggravated assault, pimping, pandering, keeping a place of a 304. Here's the thing: a lot of these charges, mind you, this isn't funny, so I'm not trying to make light of it, but I feel like when it comes to law, they get very creative when it comes to the charges. Because what kind of charge is keeping a place of a 304? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Keeping a place of a 304. What kind of charge is that? It's like they get very creative with some of this stuff. Willful obstruction of law enforcement officer and simple battery. And of course, keeping a place of a 304 is, of course, where he housed the girl and then where he ended up taking the new girl there because he had other girls already waiting. Okay. They said the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act provides a civil cause of action to victims like KM, a perpetrator that violated the TVPRA. The criminal portion states in relevant part that whoever knowingly recruits, intensifies, harbors, transports, provides, obtains, advertises. You see, Not As TV could get hit with a RICO. Now, I'm not wishing that on Not As TV, so I'm not wishing that on y'all, but y'all could very much, be implied in a lot of things. Because Not As TV got a lot of 304. I've seen a blog post. Shout out to Messy Auntie TV. One of the girls on South Central Baddies literally was talking about how like she made more money being a 304 than Not As TV. And I'm like, the girl I'm talking about is Sweet Japanese. Because apparently she still sells puss. And it's just so sad because she's such a pretty girl. And it's like, that's what she's doing. Of course, I don't feel like you should really judge somebody on how they make their coin, but it's like she's such a pretty girl. She deserves so much better. It's just sad. Like that video made me sad. A lot of people in the comments were laughing and stuff, but I felt sad watching it because I'm like, wow, like, damn. All right. So I said, will be used to cause the person to engage in an act shall be punished. Cash out violated 18 by knowingly recruiting, enticing, harboring, providing, advertising, and soliciting plaintiff JM, knowing that means of force, threats of force, and or coercion would be used to cause JM to engage in acts. Cash out recruited JM and the other women to participate in the acts by, among other reasons, stating that he would take care of them, then later claiming they must work as 304. Cash out harbored JM at various locations for the purpose of participating acts at said locations. Cash out transported JM and other women to various locations for the purpose of acts at said locations. Cash out maintained. He used force, withheld food, threatened JM with violence, struck JM multiple times, defrauded JM by falsely told that he would take care of her, coerced JM to participate in acts by threatening JM. Cash out knowingly recruited. Buyers came to various locations, purchased the right to have with JM from cash out, and then the buyers, JM at said location. Other actions to be proven at trial. Now, from what I've seen on the other PDF, the mom would basically get I guess some of the chunk from it. Like the mom allegedly knew all of this was going on and would get like a partial commission from it. So that's how she was implied as well. And she would kind of help with, the transportation and the, facilitating the 304s at these said locations. So that's how this all got cut up. And it all started with him because the way they're making it seem, they're not telling the full story in this document too, because he would tell them that I'm gonna put you into and get you connects in the music industry, allegedly. Which, by the way, like, I'm not trying to victim blame, but you have to be, not the smartest tool in the shed to believe a person like him, who I can't even name his latest track, could get you in the music industry. He's like a one-hit wonder. Like, how is he going to push your way in the industry when he could barely do that himself? So that's how he would kind of get them in. So the way they're trying to make it seem like he said he would take care of them, it's not like he said, oh, let me be your sugar daddy. No, he said, oh, you know, you want to make it, you want to be a star. What Isaiah said, that's my star. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a star? Well, I'm gonna make you a star. And then the moment they would be convinced, boom, you gotta sell twat. That's kind of how he got them. That's what the part that they're kind of like, they're not saying it in specifics. Because, you know, they don't want the jury to be confused, like, oh, maybe that was a part of, you know, getting in the music industry is, you know, sexual rituals. So they just say taking care of them. So the jury's not confused. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they end up getting convicted, y'all. Like, we all saw the mom in the courthouse and stuff like that. The thing is, though, like between him and Diddy, I feel like the reason why his was an easier W to prove is because there was massive amount of evidence against him, and it also is Georgia. I feel like Georgia, when it comes to stuff like this, they don't play around. They don't play around. They do not play around when it comes to stuff like this. Like, they don't mess around when it comes to 304ing down. I'm not saying the word specifically due to YouTube purposes, but they don't play around when it comes to being a 304, transporting 304s, abusing a 304. They don't mess when it comes to stuff like that, especially when somebody's getting taken advantage of in the state of Georgia. So that right then and there, he already, you know, the nail was in the coffin. Okay. I am going to be dropping the two, besides this one, there's another PDF. I'm gonna drop it into Discord for my Discord peeps. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. If I forget, please remind me so I could drop both of them in there, because I do have both of the PDFs in there. Okay, so let me know what y'all think down below about that. All right, so next we doing a Drewski. Is y'all finna have me telling Tussie I need to know that up front? They take it more serious than crimes against children. Yeah, they do, which is kind of crazy. To me, I just feel like the justice system is just fucked up either way. Because it's like, you know, it's crazy. You could literally unalive somebody and get less years. You could get less years than somebody that got caught selling pot of donuts or weed. How does that make sense? Why is somebody that is an unaliver getting less time than somebody who is just trying to make money? That to me is crazy. Why is somebody who touched kids getting less years than somebody who's selling pot of donuts or weed? How does that make sense? They'll get 30 years, but then you'll have somebody who touched children and a pedo. They get a slap on the wrist and they get up out of there. They get a couple years. Oh, bye. And then they do it again. They do it again. They do it again. Like, that's why I feel like America's a whole fucking joke. I don't give a fuck. It's a whole joke. How is that fair? They should be the ones sitting in there longer so they don't fucking touch more kids. But they don't. But you get caught with a pound, bitch, it's over. You sitting up in there forever. You're not ever getting up out that bitch. It doesn't make any sense to me. It is a money game because America cares about their capital more than the justice of it. They just want the money because they feel as if they're not getting any money off of it. So why the fuck are you making money? We're not getting a cut. We're not taxing the pot of donuts. Why should you be able to sell a pot of donuts? So that's just the name of the game.
No personal thing.